Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure and honor for me to be here at the World Banking Forum in Athens, sharing the stage with such great industry experts. It's still early. Hopefully, you already managed to have your first coffee and you enjoy the topic I've chosen today to discuss in a bit more detail, namely the different identity assurance methods for digital onboarding. We're going to compare them, see what are their strengths, weaknesses. We're going to touch upon the upcoming EUDI wallet. We're going to discuss potential common pitfalls, how to avoid them, different practical examples, and we're going to finish with a success story with one of our clients. Without further ado, according to research, we can see that 70% of the customers abandon their digital onboarding if it takes longer than 20 minutes. And also, we see that the abandonment in the digital onboarding across the European retail banks is estimated to range between 67 and 80%. Later on, we're going to see how this data fits in the whole picture and why having a comprehensive end-to-end solution for digital onboarding matters a lot, and how it will actually allow you to manage this data in your favor in your financial organization. So, what are the three onboarding methods known today? We have the identity verification. You'll see it with the abbreviation today, IDV. We have the identity attestation, and we have the upcoming EUDI wallet. Identity verification, we have the ID document and biometric checks. It's very fast, but it's not that secure due to the lower level of assurance. Then we have the identity attestation method, which is provided by certified notified EUDI schemes, qualified trust service providers, government bodies, where a third party certifies the user's identity and bear the legal risk for it. And the EUDI wallet, which is going to be the EU official method for storing and sharing personal attributes of the citizens. So, what are the three broad classifications for the onboarding methods? We have the traditional, where the journeys start and finish in an offline channel, a branch or office of the bank. We have the digitalized or semi-digital, where the foundation is still based on the traditional method, but there is one or two more digital interventions. For example, the customer can be identified remotely via web or mobile channel, but he will come to the office or branch of the bank to sign the contract agreement or the relevant documents for the opening a new account or debit or credit card. That's why we call it semi-digital. And we have a fully digital experience where the whole customer journey starts and finishes in an online channel. It's fully remote and it's end-to-end. We see a shift towards the digitalized and digital approach based on the customer demand, and we're gonna explore in a bit more detail how this happens in practice actually. So, how these methods compare to the wallet? We're going to see three columns here: identity verification, identity attestation, the EUDI wallet. And what you will see as a result of the identity verification comparing to the ID and the wallet is you have a one-off KYC password fail report, pretty much a certain percentage, which compares the scanned document and the biometrics of the ID selfie of the person. Whereas with the identity attestation, you have the reusable digital identity attestation due to the qualified certificate being issued. It's reusable because the duration of the certificate is based on a certain duration, and you can interact with the user multiple times across the duration of the certificate. With the EUDI wallet, you have the citizen-held verifiable credentials, which can be requested upon the different use case in need. When we talk about level of assurance, it's both high for the identity attestation and EUDI wallet, while it's lower, it's substantial for the identity verification. If you like to use qualified electronic signature, that's natively built both in the EUDI wallet and the identity attestation due to the qualified certificate issued upon successful verification of the user and the native QES keys with the EUDI wallet, while that usually will require extra vendor implementation of the IDV. When we talk about compliance, both the identity attestation solution providers and the EUDI wallet are compliant with the ADAS 2.0 regulation, while that's not the case for the identity verification. When we take into account the white label integrations, that can be easily achieved with the first two solutions, while with the EUDI wallet, that will require the end user to leave the environment, complete the onboarding in an external application, which will certainly increase some friction and drop-off rates. When we talk about acceptance, out of these three solutions, the only solution which will have to be mandatorily accepted by the banks is the upcoming EUDI wallet. Well, that's not valid for the first two. However, what is compliant with the regulation, the ADAS 2.0 regulation today, what is available is only the identity attestation solution provider. Going further, having reviewed the different methods, it's important to take into account certain factors. The core factors which I have selected today are risk, user experience and compliance, and certainly partnering with the qualified identity attestation solution provider will allow you to mitigate and manage the risk due to the strong encryption and robust authentication, which will allow you to have a much better user experience due to the seamless onboarding done with just a few clicks via the different flexible white label integration. It will also allow you to achieve out-of-the-box compliance with ADAS 2.0 and the relevant AML and KYC regulation. Just if I'm missing something, it's very important. What are the top challenges reported by both? On the left side you will see the businesses, and on the right side by end users. If we start with the businesses, if the process is considered as too slow and burdensome and potential missing information or incorrect collected information, that will certainly be accepted as a challenge for the businesses. Also, insufficient security or potential communication issues, last but not least, potential technical errors. And if we pay attention to the reasons, abundant reasons reported by the user, certainly we have started a few slides ago with the process. If it takes too long, that's considered as a challenge for the users. The process somehow may be considered as too intrusive or invasive due to too much personal information being collected or not user-friendly enough, which also, last but not least, security and privacy reasons, certainly a concern for the end users when they're going through the onboarding method. And going further, here I have illustrated the three methods and their relevance. On the top you can see the wallets. They have a starting point which currently in 2025 we are in the development phase. We have the compliance and technology in place. In 2026 we expect in the beginning the early pilots, and by the end of the year we expect all of the EU member states to have their wallets available for their respective citizens. At the bottom we see the identification solution providers which are fading out due to the lower level of assurance being not legally binding and AML proof. And in the middle, the focus on the IDA, the identity attestation solution providers, which are relevant, and I believe they will continue to be relevant due to the higher level of assurance, strong security and compliance out of the box being achieved with the meeting with the relevant regulations, and also, last but not least, the great customer experience they are giving to respective end users. Going further, just a very short roadmap of the wallet. As we have said, in 2025, all the EU member states are focusing on the development of the wallet. We have the technology and compliance frameworks in place. In the beginning of the 2026, next year, we expect the first early pilots. And by the end, by December 2027, we see that all of the 27 EU member states must ensure the EUDI wallet is available to their citizens. In 2027, we expect the scale and reuse phase. We expect a wider adoption across the banks and the financial institutions. And the financial institution must accept the wallet for strong customer authentication and KYC. Going further, we're gonna touch upon the idea behind the wallet, the use cases and the implementation. The idea is first and foremost to focus on digital interactions. The wallet should be able to facilitate digital interaction across the EU member states. It should lower the reliance on third-party private companies for storage the personal data of the EU citizens. And last but not least, the higher security and transparency across the member states. The use cases, that's just few potential use cases which expect to be used, but government institutions, banks, insurance companies, telcos, education, as long as there is a need for the citizens to provide a certain attributes or their status, age, nationality, it can be extracted and shown to the relevant institution for the different use case in place. The implementation, what is important is that, we have said earlier before, by the end of the next year we expect the wallet must be fully functional and available to the entire EU. So, just quickly touching upon the few reasons, key reasons why identity assurance is relevant in 2025. When we start with the fraud, with the technological advancements in the AI world we're currently living in, we need to be able to block account takeovers with synthetic identities. We need to stay ahead of the regulation and meet the relevant requirements of them, build customer trust. Having a comprehensive and secure process for digital onboarding will help you achieve this. And last but not least, there is a push for efficiency. Will help you reduce manual checks and lower write-offs. So this is very important. What are the key principles for efficient digital onboarding? If we start with process optimization, the process should be seamless, should be quick, it should ideally under 10 minutes, it should be very intuitive with clear steps, it should be uninterrupted for the end user with seamless transition from web to mobile environment to complete both the identification and the signing part. There should be a leverage, an end-to-end solution, and the end user should be complete the onboarding journey just in a single session. We shouldn't compromise security. There should be a multi-layered security approach for robust customer protection. So, what are the metrics that really matter? I have selected three key ones, being conversion, fraud, and cost. We started the presentation with some metrics and research regarding the different abandonment rates across the European retail banks. Why this is important? Because if we have a smooth onboarding customer journey, that will help certainly reduce these abandonment rates. It will help you reduce the drop-off rates, and will actually help you not only increase the customer lifetime value, but drive revenue for your organization. Also, fraud. We need to be able to stop the bad actors at the front door. We see that even a 1% fraud rate can translate into hidden costs. So we need to have a secure and robust encryption methods in our digital onboarding. Going further, we need to touch upon the common pitfalls and how we are actually able to tackle and overcome them. If the banks are over-focusing on compliance, potentially that will lead to leave the user experience on the site. There should be a balance between security, compliance, and user experience. Siloed approach. Embedding identity attestation solution provider will allow you to digitalize more than one use case. Digital identity is not limited only to digital onboarding. Having the right solution in place will help you take into account the different qualified services in the portfolio and digitalize much more customer-facing process in your organization. If we have a passive approach for change, certainly we'll keep behind the competition, and we also need to invest in standards and partnerships to unify the trust across the borders. With 5 of our key clients, we have managed to achieve some great results, which we call return on digitalization. On the left side, we have the improved customer attraction, experience and loyalty, and on the right side, you see the increase in the customer lifetime value. Just some quick percentages. We've managed to reduce the onboarding time by 10x, 95% automation of onboarding and first service management, 15x lower customer service costs, and 90% reduction in fraud loss. This has been all achieved by building a smooth journey which allows end-to-end digitalization of the process without having the user to leave the environment, be able to be fully in your flow, in your control of the journey. So some impressive percentage here. This has been achieved by UniCredit, one of our core clients, across a 5-year period. This has been done, and they have actually started with just a single process, signing contracts for small consumer loans for pre-approved clients, to today digitalizing 90% of their mortgage loan process and 95% of the SME loans being signed fully remotely. We see the amazing growth throughout the 5-year period. Also, we see the year-over-year growth in the demand for digital service. We see around 80% year-over-year growth from 2022 to the last 2-3 years. This has been the demand in the digital services. We have the e-signature in place. We have the remote electronic identification services, the authentication, and we are happy that we've been partnering with this financial organization in a great way, managing to achieve such great results across the last few years. And what we do is helping these organizations to digitalize their process, both internally and externally with their partners and end users. We have digitalized more than 35 customer-facing processes with our clients. So I'm very happy to share these metrics with you, and I'll be happy to discuss how you're doing your digital onboarding with your organizations, and potentially if we can partnership or help you. So I'm open to any questions if you might have.
Thank you. You know, it's out of curiosity, I was trying to open account in different those digital banks, and what I noticed in your slide, when you are mentioning there is on one side this scanning of the documents, on the other side the wallets. I didn't saw yet that anybody is using those wallets. So how far we are from that solution, which seems to be very great, but I don't see them use it.
I believe we're not that far actually, because I've been speaking with representatives from different member states across the EU, and many of them are in final development phase. So we expect, as I said, the early pilots in the beginning, actually in Q1 next year. Of course, that will vary on a case-by-case basis across the different states, but at least internally in our organization, we expect to have the pilots in the first half of next year. That may vary, but it's more interesting how this will impact the financial sector in general, and how the wallets will be accepted by not only the banks but the different institutions, pension funds, and the whole organization, the whole financial sector as a whole.
Yeah, and I guess in countries like, for example, I live in Vienna, there is about 20% of population there which are not Austrian citizens, which means they would also have wallets from different countries. So this cross-country trust will also be important.
Yes, yes.
Good, thank you very much.
Thank you.